When I wake up, I don't care about nobody. I got niggas obsessed with my whole body. He said he wanna buy me a new body, even though he fell in love with my old body. I can't be for these bitches, ain't nobodies. I need a nigga that only got low bodies. If you catch me in public and wanna tip, just make sure that you get in my body. Nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. When I wake up, I don't care about nobody. I got niggas obsessed with my whole body. He said he wanna buy me a new body, even though he fell in love with my old body. I can't be for these bitches, ain't nobody. I need a nigga that only got low body. If you catch me in public and wanna tip, just make sure that you get in my full body. When I step on these bitches, I tip top. I'm so fast, these bitches just like up. And the bitches who rap, you probably know. Bitches look up to me, I'm the pinnacle. When I step on these bitches, I tip top. I'm so fast, these bitches just like up. And the bitches who rap, you probably know. Bitches look up to me, I'm the pinnacle. Who got me for nobody? I'm rapping the princess, nobody. All these bitches look up on the top of the boat, so I promise you I'm not a nobody. They ain't doing it when I walk in the bed and I'm rapping, just feeling like nobody. All these bitches keep kissing me, but you kidding me? All these bitches is nobody. Nobody. How could I get? Nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Mad you ain't gonna beat me, so my ass, I've been feeling cheeky. He sending cash, he must wanna eat me. After he done, he gon' rate it like Cleveland. We like honey, this cookie, the beef with me. Well, I know if I love him like Kiki. I could do what I can't really cheat. He on the back, my bitch still against you. I feel the pills since they can't take me, shorty bitches high as dumb. Go ask around, I'm hard on the hoe, nigga can't get a piece of dumb. I'll make a nigga beat the bucket. Nigga gon' treat a nigga like he chump. Walk a younger man, chance to get it. Bitch, I been number one. When I wake up, I don't care about nobody. He said you wanna buy me a new body, even though he fell in love with my old body. I can't be for these bitches, ain't nobody. If you catch me in public and wanna tip it, just make sure that you get in my full body. Nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. Nobody, nobody, nobody. And the bitches will rock you, probably know. And the bitches will rock you, probably know. And the bitches will rock you, probably know. And the bitches will rock you, probably know.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we get into it, y'all already know what I need y'all to do. Run them likes all the way up. Thumbing up not only helps the YouTube's algorithm. Well, YouTube got it going on right now. YouTube is messing with the girls' quality, video quality, audio quality. You know, I've been out here in these YouTube streets the past few days, baby, and YouTube is really wrecking shop on people's shit, okay? I was in the middle of watching T.S. Madison's Gag Talk, and like the first 30 minutes, hour a day show is completely glitched out, blurred out. T.S. Madison was pissed to the highest pissivity. She said this stuff is out of our control. Even when you do your part, you got banging Wi-Fi, you got banging technology, you got expensive shit, but the server ain't serving what needs to be served. So it's a mess right now. And then God forbid, between YouTube being raggedy, StreamYard is 50% of the time raggedy as hell and got server issues as well. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, it's going in and out because it's not my mic, it's YouTube. Like, that's exactly why I'm saying everything that I'm saying. We ain't got no control over this shit. Everybody experiencing technical issues. I can't do nothing about it. I am gonna plug in my headphones in a minute, and hopefully that'll help. But baby, YouTube got it going on, so y'all. If you guys enjoy everything that Kane does here, always you can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/ConsciouzTV. Hold on, let me put the headphones in right now. Shadi says yes, it's been all the lives. It's everybody. It's across the board. It's not the content creators. So you know, it's interesting. Now, I know we just came out of a retrograde, But retrograde, I think, is on its way out. I think we're in a shadow period. So we should be seeing some resolution. Okay, I need a resolution. My gosh, shout out to baby girl Aaliyah. We need a resolution because we got so much confusion. If you enjoy everything that Kane does here, you can always donate to the platform at $Consciouztv on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. Of course, that's conscious with the Z on the end, spelled just how it is here on the channel. All the donation information and social media handles are in the description box below, as well as scrolling from right to left at the bottom of the screen in red and white. Also, make sure you have your notification bell set to all. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just hit them horse on the we're out, we're live, and we're certainly in color. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through. Oh.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. I got the burps because I am hydrating, my God, today. And baby, it's this Aquafina quenching my thirst, my God. Hope you guys are having a wonderful work day and a great start to a great work week. I had a great weekend, having a great Monday. And some things came across my desk today that I want to talk about. Yes, we got to get into it. This is going to be a super transparent live stream. We shouldn't really be here for a long time, only for a good time. And I don't know, Spirit just felt and told me, to get my ass up here and talk to the people and share some things. So maybe this live will help someone potentially, child. Okay. Where do I want to get started? Because I know the title is titling. My God, the titling is titling. Yes. Let's start with bloggers extorting people. So you guys know the type of work that I have been involved in since I have been a content creator. I predominantly have a pop culture, trendy topic, celebrity gossip platform. Okay, that's what we mostly specialize in. Every now and again, we sprinkle in some spirituality, some metaphysics, some politics, etc., just to show that the king is a verse king. Shout out to all verses, my God. And then you guys know another notable feature of the platform is my vigilante work. You guys have seen that vigilante work, child, across the spectrum. We have fought the bad guys of Gotham from one end to another. Everybody from E. Dewey Smith. We have vigilante for T.S. Madison, for Larry Reed, for Storm Monroe. We've done a lot of great work over here. And some of that vigilante work, it wasn't the most romantic in terms of experience, long after the public situations were resolved and dissolved. There was residual, lingering drama that played out for, the vigilantes themselves. And that has been a very evolutionary journey for myself. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about how to navigate social media. I've learned a lot and also refined my approach to the type of vigilante, advocacy, truth-seeking work that I do on the platform. So it was definitely an iron that sharpened iron, okay? And it's a work that I don't regret, regardless of how crazy it was at times, how insane it was at times, and regardless of sometimes the dramatics of some of the outcomes and consequences of standing for truth, doubling down on truth, not giving a damn, about people's interest in narratives over truth, which can sometimes make you unpopular in a situation. That can come with its fair share of backlash and bullshit. It's been a mental asylum. But because in principle, I'm always going to stand for the light. I'm always going to stand for truth and justice. It's who I am. It's what I was incarnated into this world to do. And if I'm being really honest, which is what I came here to be, I honestly feel like at some point, this is a hill that I'm going to actually literally die on. There's a lot going on politically. There's a lot going on in our society. I'm involved in a lot of initiatives and movements that I have not been speaking publicly about because of the intensity of where we are going societally. I can imagine that I'm probably going to be a martyr at some point. Yeah. And I'm okay with that because I'm very clear about my purpose, and I'm very clear about my convictions, and I'm very clear about what I've come to do. So if you fuck around and you see that the CTV has laid his life down for truth and laid his life down for justice, don't be so surprised. I called it first. Okay? No. This is not a bad thing. Martyrs are necessary in this world. People have come into this earth to lay their life down. I'm a disciple of truth. This path has been long laid out for me, long before I ever incarnated into a body. Okay? This life has been decided upon, who I am, what I am, where I am, and what it's going to be. Have all been preset and predetermined. Your life as a person is not really about trying to create your life. Really, what people are really working out, unbeknownst to them, is people are really trying to figure out their purpose. And people are trying to understand through the lived experience, why this? Why them? Why my place here? What is all of this about? And all of that really is the process of understanding the script that you've already signed up for. And incarnating here is about getting in touch with that script, getting in touch with that underlining truth in your life that's been trying to direct you a certain way, put you on a certain path, even when you didn't desire that path, even when you didn't necessarily care for that path, even when you didn't feel ready for that path, and yet there's been this low-key pressure, this low-key momentum. There's been this low-key gravitational pull that you couldn't quite get away from. And if you get old enough and clear enough and self-actualized enough and aware enough, you begin to realize that atmospheric pressure, that gravitational pull, that thing that's been trying to kind of tug you over here, was the momentum and power of your purpose. And then from there, it's just a matter of becoming very clear. I am not like other human beings. I am a very spiritual being, and I'm a very spiritual person. I do not fear the type of shit that people fear. I don't run from the type of shit that people run from. I don't even care about a lot of the shit that other people care about. Those are not my particular priorities. Those are not my particular shortcomings. Those are not my particular weaknesses. So even in the conversation around death, I am clear because there is no fucking such thing as death. This is why the disciples were able to martyr their lives. They were able to lay down their lives. These are the things that they learned, and that they learned on an intimate level through the type of kundalini and transcendental meditations and interactions with deeper states of consciousness and spirit, and that awakening that destroyed that false illusion that there is separatedness, that there's you and there's God. No, it's all one thing. That there's death and there's life. No, there is just one thing. There's not this and that happening. That all phenomenon is ultimately and truly singular. And I love that for those who have discovered that truth, because when you become very clear and you accept your divine nature, you accept that there is no end to consciousness, for energy cannot be destroyed, only transferred and transformed. There's a liberation that comes with that. There's a freedom that comes with that. Imagine if you sincerely gave yourself permission to accept that there was no such thing as death. Imagine all of the weight that would remove, consciously and unconsciously, from the way you maneuver in life. Because so many of us are carrying around fears and concerns and griefs and worryation that we are consciously and unconsciously aware of. We have worries about our loved ones, our children, our parents. We second guess our choices and decisions. We hesitate when it comes to new experiences. You know, there's all this rendezvousing with fear. Fear is hindering and handicapping so many people. Imagine giving yourself permission to actually live and to transcend fear and actually experience what's remaining of your life. Now that you're not shortchanging yourself by way of said fear. Because when I tell you that I'm in the most liberated, I don't give a fuck era of my life, I mean, it is chef's kiss. It's a gorgeous arrogance. It's a righteous arrogance. It's a righteous confidence. It's a righteous sureness. It's a righteous peace. It's a righteous state of being. When you're just moving through the fluidity of faith and intuition. Because I think that most of us have ran up against our intuition enough to know that our intuition has never steered us wrong. What if you gave yourself permission to finally be obedient to it? What if you finally sat down and got real with yourself and said, you know what, bitch, I need to stop lying to the part of me that doesn't fucking lie and respect the truth that emotes and vibrates through me in the form of that whisper or that static shock that I get in my nervous system and my solar plex that I always know, but would make decisions out of my ego instead, make decisions out of my fear instead, make decisions out of a lack of discipline, impulse, etc. You know, what I'm really talking about is really what happens when you just grow the fuck up. You grow the fuck up. You grow the fuck up. And you finally align with the part of yourself that you could always count on, but for a plethora of different reasons, never gave yourself permission to. Maybe you thought that your intuition was a one-off phenomenon that operated sporadically and randomly and wasn't something that was always available to you, which it is. But the reason why we don't consistently always harmonize with our intuition to remain in constant contact with it is because we allow and permit ourselves to be governed by so many other internal and external forces like ego, like false teachings, like false demonstrations, like fear, like trauma, like culture. You know, we consciously and unconsciously pledge allegiance to a lot of shit that disrupt our natural, omniscient, omnipotent state of being. And there's a way to actually consistently get in contact with that part of yourself that's always in the knowing, that always knew what the outcome was going to be, that always knew what the truth was. And it's about prioritizing sitting in that self more so than you sit in the alternative selves. Because, of course, when you're more engaged with your pain body, your intuitive self is going to feel far away or be heavily diluted. When you're more in touch with your ego and your narcissism, of course, your intuitive self is going to be quieter and you're going to feel more far away and you're not going to be hearing and receiving those communications via satellite. The signal grows weak. You know, when the scriptures talk about having one master and one Lord and not being double-minded and choosing whom you will serve today, it's talking about that greater aspect of yourself. Because even the God of the scriptures isn't talking about some externalized God, but a God that is personified through human personality and human existence. The higher, fuller aspect of yourself, where your desire to do better comes from, your desire to do good, to do love, to be well. The part of you that always knows which way to go, whether you are obedient or not. So then spirituality helps you to cultivate a lifestyle that liberates the greater aspects of your humanity, helps you to also understand and learn from your shadow self, because the shadow self has its place too. The ego also has its place too. The problem is, as humans, is that a lot of times we don't know to put these parts of ourselves in their fucking place. They take up space where they should not. They govern parts of us that they should not. They take lead when they should be features and should be extras. And sometimes just not in the room at motherfucking all. And you grow to understand that and to create a lifestyle that supports that. Which leads to increased self-awareness, which allows you to govern yourself beyond emotions exclusively, beyond impulses exclusively, and to be governed by actual clarity, which comes in between some place of logic and emotional intelligence, is an HD sense of clarity and groundedness. And when you start living from that place and deciding from that place and choosing from that place, whew, baby. When I tell you shit gets good, shit gets good. Oh, yeah. Now, returning back to bloggers and extortion and vigilante work. I'm very proud of that work. I am happy to have been a part of that type of work. I am happy to have utilized my platform in a way that could assist other people when they didn't have the tribe, they didn't have the community. Sometimes they didn't even have their own motherfucking voice. They didn't have the platform, and that I could stand in the gap and be of immense resource. I'm proud of that work. But today, I realized that I am complete in that work. And that I don't want to do that type of work anymore. God has been doing so many gorgeous things for me when it comes to my dual citizenship, when it comes to my grandmother leaving behind a immense inheritance. And it has really caused me to deeply consider the trajectory of these next chapters of my life and who I'm seeking to be, who I'm determined to be, and what I want my life to look like, and more importantly, what I want it to fucking feel like. And I feel like when you see God changing your life for the better, and you see spirit operating in your life in a way that consistently renders you blessed and highly favored, that there's no way to see that without giving something back in return. And what I want to give back to God is the fight. And I want to be of service in a different type of way that's not so intense, that's not so costly, because God also has been working through other aspects of what I'm called to do here through writing, being an author, literature, being a teacher, etc. That also yield the same in principle as the vigilante work that I do. It's just another way of being a vigilante. And this became very clear to me when I received the email that I want to share with you guys today. And I knew I was done because of just how immediate this all was. What's going on, Brittany? Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. You guys run the lights all the way up. I want to share this with you guys. And I'm really freestyling this right now. Hold on. Let me pull this up. You guys run the lights all the way up because y'all can see YouTube is doing the most. So let's do the most in return. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this up. Nobody. How could I beef with these bitches? They nobodies. I want to show you guys something that came across my desk today. And I knew I was done. I could feel the doneness of it all. Hold on. All right. So I received this email when I woke up. Driver, roll up the partition, please. I don't need to see NCTV on his knees. 25 minutes to get all dressed up. Okay. So I received this email from a gentleman. The caption of the email was titled Help. And it read, "Hello, Consciouztv. You don't know me, but I am in need of your help with a blogger who is trying to extort me. While he broke the law and is now trying to do damage control, please, if you would contact me, I really need your help." Okay. Now, he sent me this at 12:22. I didn't wake up till about 1:30-ish. And when I turned over to look at my phone, I saw I had this email there. So I jumped in. What I said to him in response was, "I am so sorry. There is nothing that I can help with as a blogger about extortion. Extortion is a felony crime. And if you believe you are experiencing that, you need to contact the authorities." Each is pop culture and celebrity gossip. And I gave him best regards. He emailed and said, "Thank you for your response. I understand. Apologies for bothering you." When I went to check my Instagram, I noticed that he had also sent me a message there. But Instagram had sent the message to another folder. Like that other folder that Facebook, and I don't even know why IG and Facebook have the alternative folder, but it was in that folder too. I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do this type of work this way anymore. I don't want to throw myself into 5 o'clock traffic. I don't want to take on other people's battles in this way. I don't want to do that work in that way in which I have been doing over the past 8-9 years. Because for one, this work comes with a lot. Being a vigilante at surface glance sounds action-packed and glamorous and awe-inspiring. And as I have already stated, the work is take anything away from it. It's why I did it. And while it was never easy work to do, then this coal to put your you feel you don't oftentimes see. and to choose to fill that void and that space in with yourself instead of waiting on someone else to do it or waiting on some other system to do it. Of course, there's an immense payoff emotionally, mentally, and ethically. And it also helps to sustain a sense of hope because you return back to the psychology of, if I exist, then I know other people exist. If I exist, I know others exist. And sometimes God or Christ or the only fantasy of good, the only reality of love that we're going to have in our lives at times is going to be ourselves. Sometimes that is the single spark that keeps that flame flaming, is yourself and what you're bringing to the table. But this, and even right now, I'm stuck, not really stuck, but I'm in a dumbass lawsuit with a dumb a work that has already come. And the audience and everybody involved, at least all the defendants, have moved on. The fight is still happening, even though that fight personally, that work personally, for me, ended back in February. But there's an entire litigation that is playing out, and only God knows when it'll end, when it'll be over, etc. I'm very clear about the fact that this is all going to work out totally in my favor, which is why you guys don't see any type of, like, there's no anxiousness, there's no anxiety, there's no nothing, right? As it relates to anything happening on my end in navigating this dumbass suit. But the manifestation of that suit really brought me face to face with the fact that, yeah, while some of this shit plays out, in front of the schoolhouse front lawn and plays out in the open, hold on. Oh, what y'all talking about in the audience? I just looked down. Yeah, I mean, if YouTube is cutting my sound off, what can I do about it? I don't control the levers of YouTube. If I could, there would be no sound being cut off. So, I mean, it's YouTube. I don't have anything to do with YouTube side of the production. But like, the fight continues on for us. Long after shit has played out in the front schoolyard. I think about over the past few years, I have been through everything on this bitch. I really don't know anybody who's been through more. I have been through everything on this motherfucker. I have fallen out with other content creators as a result of standing on absolute and utter business, and I don't fucking regret it because my foot is still on Dai's neck to this day. No regrets. It's forever. I have had bitches try to weaponize the legal system and file fake ass protective orders against me, failed. I've had bitches file frivolous lawsuits against me, failed. Got a goofy file a frivolous suit in federal court against me currently. That's going to fail. You know, my God's track record. I can't speak for y'all's God. My Lord and Savior, the God of my servitude, okay? The God of my heart, the God of my mind, my God, okay? Is consistent. And while there is no promise that a weapon will not form, the promise is one will not motherfucking prosper. So you're going to have your fair share of weapons forming against you. What you want to be in tune with, baby, is a power and an alignment that ensures and preserves your confidence in the fact that there's going to be no prosperity of that weapon. And there have not been any. My God, today. So, my moderator, Ray, says, please do not announce anyone else's live in the chat. We don't care. I don't... Do people really need to be told that? That is wild that some of you guys don't have any type of YouTube etiquette whatsoever. Like, y'all really think that it's kosher to promote other content creators or other people's live streams in a content creator's chat who is live? Like, how does... You do realize this is a business, right? How does that make sense for business? To be hooting and hollering and acknowledging other people. How does it make sense? Like, when you really think about it, think about it. Think about it. Think deeply about how it makes any sense. You know, sometimes it's better to just sit back and enjoy a show. Okay? Hands off the wheel. Okay? Just put on your seatbelt. This bitch is in autopilot mode. Okay? Roll the window down and just be present, baby. Okay? But where was I? This work, you know, it's a weird work. You know, it's a rewarding work on the front end, but it's so crazy on the back end. It's so chaotic and it's so over the top. And, you know, the sad thing is that I understand why people, because for a long time when I was doing this work, I'd be like, well, damn, bitch, like, why aren't there other superheroes? Where are all the superheroes? Where are all the superheroes of Gotham? Where are they? You know, if all this is going on, where are the Power Rangers? Where are the Avengers? Where are the X-Men? Where is Spidey? Well, I understand. A lot of people can't even pay the cost to be the motherfucking boss. A lot of people couldn't even survive the consequences of doing the right thing. And yes, in this world governed by satanic, pedophilic, principalities, low vibrational, demonic political forces, you are going to sometimes be punished for doing the right thing. This is why we call it martyrdom. And my personal Lord and Savior said that when you are being punished for doing the righteous thing, just remember that they did it to him first. It's par for the course unfortunately. That you cannot do any good thing in this world without being rewarded in one way or another. Okay. And this can discourage people from even trying. It can discourage people from even attempting to stand for what's right, to do the right thing because of what it may in fact cost them. And so I can't really be upset at people who don't pick up that cross and who play the background and who choose to just be observers, who make for better witnesses, if anything else. Because you really have to have a working system to do this type of work. You know, I talk about this all the time when it comes to King Jobs and what, you know, he got going on in his litigation with Felton. You know, the fact that it was really painful to watch King Jobs do what he felt was right in that situation, and then have a really outlandish person file a frivolous lawsuit, and then watch Jobs have to struggle through that litigation, which is why, you know, I responded to a call to action over here on the Conscious Crew platform. And we came together, we raised money for Jobs, we raised thousands of dollars for him. You guys were so faithful and so reliable and loving. You know, I gave Jobs $1,000 of my own pot of gold, you know, to contribute to his legal aid, his financial aid. And it's why I think the last time that I spoke about Jobs, I gave an update about his case with Felton, and he had been shown some favor. God be the glory in that update, because Felton is trying to garnish his wages and is not able to at this time. My God, today. Isn't the Lord good? Won't the Lord do it? And I said, you know, regardless of what me and Jobs have been through on this platform, I'm always going to have respect for what he has done and what he represents, because it is a work that not many people are doing. And his situation is a prime example of how outlandish the consequences can be of doing the right thing, even when you've been put in that position because you've been asked to. Not even that you were seeking a click and a view or seeking a story to tell, but had people coming to you, people putting information in your lap, people crying on your shoulders, people looking for you to be an advocate in their circumstances, and then watching how, right, that story has came and gone. The Felton situation played out years ago, and Jobs in 2026 is still navigating the residuals of that lawsuit. And that story came and went. People got what they needed. People got Jobs to do whatever it is they wanted him to do. The story was the story at the time, and there's been 100,000 more stories since then, and yet he's still having to navigate the consequences and repercussions of that story. That's the life of an advocate. I don't want to do this way no more. I don't. And today I realized that I'm not going to. That today is the end of this type of work for me. I did not realize that and know that until I woke up to this email today. And everything in me was complete. Everything in me was in agreement. Hey, Coach Leslie. Hey, babe. Everything, mind, body, and soul was in agreement and was complete. Today, baby, we exit Egypt. Okay, baby. Today, we forge ahead toward the promised land for me. This is where my rubble meets its road. And I feel at peace about what is complete. I feel so complete about it. I feel even more blessed that I'm at a place where I'm willing to honor what I'm complete about. That I'm willing to follow it through. Because there's lots of ways to be a superhero and to be of resource and help than to do it the way that I've been doing it. But I respect that way of doing it as well. I respect those who do it. And I understand why there are so few who do it. And it's because of all of the bullshit that it comes with. You know, I was thinking to myself that when this lawsuit that I'm in is wrapped up and resolved, I was like, you know what? Oh, I can't wait to the end, bitch, because the way I'm going to read the arch down to the ground, baby, it's going to be like no other. But I am so complete that I may not even acknowledge when that shit comes to an end, because I'm just so far away from it. And it's already over. I'm just waiting on the material manifestation of the case has been dismissed. I've already internally, spiritually, emotionally, mentally I'm already at the end, because the part of me that is all of that and is about all of that is complete and does not exist. So when I think about now, the way I would celebrate the end of the suit, it's not even in the same way that I would if I was still in my old self. Because that old self does not exist currently. Before we transition, I want to say that vigilantes need a lot of working mechanisms to make this type of work happen. It's not enough for the vigilante to just be standing on business and to be the lead in the fight for truth and the fight for justice. If that vigilante does not have the proper community there to support the physical infrastructure of that work, because every vigilante, before they choose a story, has to always consider the risk. And you can be put in positions to have to make material moves depending on what the feedback is for you being on the story. In some of our cases, it's frivolous lawsuits. Well, frivolous lawsuits cost money. You have to fund your fight for your innocence. And if you're doing this for community, because oftentimes there's not enough commercial systems in place for people being victimized to get the type of justice that they need, so then alternative forms of justice have to manifest in their place, which is the vigilante work, then community has to not only be willing to tune in and click in and rally behind, but they have to really rally behind in a material way, because there may be material consequences of doing the right thing. I've seen vigilantes have to relocate, have to move because they've been doxxed, etc. That's not free to do. I've seen vigilantes have their cars destroyed, tires flattened. Those repairs, renovations are not free of charge. There is so much shit that people don't even consider as it relates to the vigilantes who are in the form and doing that vigilante work via social media, content creating, being a commentator. And to be honest about it, a lot of vigilantes don't even bring half of the shit that has happened to them and that be happening to them to social media out of potential embarrassment. I have seen in cases, out of not wanting to put the oppositional party up on game. You know, there are so many reasons why a vigilante may not speak their full experience of what they're having to navigate as a result of picking up that work. There are so many silent struggles that come with it. It's a heavy cost. And some people all out lose their lives. You know, I have God persevering right now through my life. I have so many things to celebrate and that I'm getting prepared for. I shouldn't have to be navigating a lawsuit amidst a time like this in my life, which I'm still giving myself 100% the right to be present in, to indulge in. And I'm also blessed to not have to fund this motherfucking fight either. You know, so shout out to the powers that completely be. Because, you know, I can't speak for everybody else, but I got favor all over me. And I think that that's why the other side is so spooked, because I think that they thought that there was going to be some like big collapse. I think that they thought that when they filed a lawsuit for frivolous purpose, to be a frivolous lunatic, that it was going to be that it was just going to shake the table and open up the earth from beneath this side. And there are definitely defendants who have had the ground removed from underneath their feet. CTV just hasn't been one of them. There's been no shift or no change at all since the filing of the suit. There's been no struggle, no sleepless night, no adjustment, no nothing. It's really as if there's no suit at all that exists. And I've pulled so much of my emotion out of it as well, because, perception is reality, and the law of attraction responds to perception. But I was thinking the other day, I was like, this is the only thing, because, right now I could skip in a hop. I got my dual citizenship already situated, baby. The CTV could really hit it. But when I hit it, I want all of my affairs in America to be tied up. I don't want to have to traverse between America and where I am domiciled. So I've decided to not transition until, me and heaven wrap up this dumbass suit. And then I'm going to officially pooch on through. That's giving me some time as well to tie up some other loose ends, emotionally, spiritually, as it relates to divesting from American culture, divesting from American living, etc. This will be the first time that I've ever lived this far away from home. This is the first time this is the second time in my life, because I moved from South Carolina, then I moved to Alabama as a trial run, and now I'll be moving from Alabama to completely abroad. So this would be like the third time that I've created a home somewhere else. And that's really fucking insane. But it's what I'm ready for. It's where I'm being guided. And I'm really excited, my God, today for it. Yes. So, vigilante work. Still a superhero, but I'm going to be doing that work in a different way. I'm not the person that wants to be in the forefront. I don't want to be in the eye of the storm. I don't want to be on the front lines. I'm not going to be in any of those positions. And if anything, I will help people who are being victimized in how to advocate for themselves rather than to have an advocate. I will teach a man how to fish for himself rather than fishing for him. I will direct his ways and provide him the wisdoms and knowledge to empower his or herself. But the day and age of being on the front line, the days of having a head-on collision with the 18-wheeler, them days are done. I am so complete on that. And I just don't want other people's problems having to cost me anything. Anything. Not a thought, not anything. So we're done with working that way. But we will continue to work. Okay? So God bless this individual who emailed me, and hopefully they will contact the authorities, because in all actuality, I don't have no power in heaven or hell about somebody attempting to extort someone. Go file the police report. Once again, extortion, intimidation, blackmail, these are all things that are criminal offenses. So there are proper chains of commands if that's the case. And God bless them in their efforts to dissolve this extortion shit. Now, moving on. I want to talk about a past relationship super quick. A few live streams ago, I spoke to y'all about how, I don't even know like what the live stream was, but we was talking about how you have to let how other people treat you be about them and not about you. Because so many times we as people internalize how other people treat us, and then we end up with a fucked up ass self-esteem and sense of self about behavior directed our way that actually has nothing to do with us, despite us inheriting the behavior. And your emotional intelligence has to prevail at times in your life where someone is acting up really, 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 really bad in your life. And somebody's mistreating you, being unfair to you, being unkind to you, being unloving toward you, abusing you. And you not only have to have the power to love yourself into a better predicament, but you've also got to love yourself enough to not carry that story as your own. Let people be assigned to their own behavior. We just went through a retrograde. Me and my twin flame, we had a great relationship when we were together. But he was a very troubled person. He had a lot of personal issues, a lot of issues that I did not know he had until, we had long fallen in love and gotten together and all of that. And then, goes kaboom. And he ended up going to prison, dead smack in the middle of our relationship. I carried him through that process. And then we broke up once he was released because he was wanting to get back into things that he should not have wanted to get back into, things that led him into prison from the beginning. And I wasn't interested in none of that. So we had broken up. Then at some point after he got out of prison and we had broken up, he felt like he wanted to finally live right. And he wanted to be a normal, regular person. And, he wanted his relationship back, etc. I accepted that because I loved them and I wanted the relationship to work as well. And I felt like, well, maybe him living through the consequences of his own actions have awakened him, and things could be different, And enough time had also gone by as well. Like, I think we didn't get back together until maybe a year and a half, maybe even 2 after he had gotten out of prison and we had broken up. But I had told him before he descended upon Jerusalem, I said, look, you can't do no drugs. You can't do no things. Like if I see any part of that in you, I'm done. I'm gone. I'm not living that way. If you want to live that way, if that's what you want to do to yourself and to your life, I can't stop you from doing it, but I want no parts in it. I deserve a better life. I deserve a higher quality version of you than that. And I'm just not making no space to tolerate that from you, especially after carrying your ass through a 3-year prison sentence on top of that. I'm not giving no more amount of my time, my life, my resources, my nothing to that foolishness. He understood. He pledged an allegiance. He descended upon Jerusalem. Everything was fine for a week. All hell broke loose. He was outsourcing for drugs. I would wake up in the middle of the night. He would be gone. Come to find out, he done got on some app to outsource for the shit he was doing. And obviously that led to motherfucking conflict. And I told him, you gotta go. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I told you I ain't want to do this. You done came here and you done started doing this. I told you that I would even be patient and support you through rehabilitation, whatever you needed to truly get on your feet. You know, I'm down for all of that. Long as you're giving me something to work with, I can work with what we working with. But you got to give me something that I can positively work with. And obviously, he wasn't interested in rehab. He wasn't interested in continuing any type of rehabilitation. So we got into it. He got pissed off at me because I broke it off. He started a physical altercation. I finished the physical altercation. Okay? And then he wanted me to pay for his flight out of the state. And that was not happening. I didn't get you here. And I didn't ask for you to be here. You're the one who popped up a year and a half later. You're the one who popped up 2 years later, wanting, you know, to belly crawl toward the hem of my garb. Okay, your choices have led you to the situation you're in now. And if you don't have any money to get your ass back home, that is on you. And I told him, I said, you can go hoot and holler. I'm sure that there would be some bitch who would love to have your narrative, who will be eager for you to tell your story to, and they will pull out all the stops, baby, and rally behind getting you a ticket, etc. And that's exactly what the fuck he did. He got online and he went to the opposition. He told them a bunch of lies. They thought they were doing their big one on CTV, not even knowing that he was over there because of CTV. And they helped to fly him out to wherever it is he went back to, only for the motherfucking nigga to use the remaining of the money they sent him to fly his ass back to me 2 days later. And I only let him come back 2 days later after pulling all that bullshit on social media just to gag the opposition. Just to show them hoes. Bitch, you got played, you big fucking goofies, and you can't keep no nigga off of me. It just does not happen. Okay? You fell for the okie dokie, you shit tots. And then I sent his ass packing officially a few days after that. Well, we've remained in association since all of the foolishness. And, you know, he's been in and out of jail since, you know, for all the bitches who was selling the false narrative that I was the problem. Well, how is it that I was the problem, but he the one who done been in and out of motherfucking jail and prison since all of that. CTV been living my life like it's golden since. I ain't had no problem since. I'm not in and out of jail. I don't go to jail. I don't have a rep sheet. My God. Okay? But he's been in and out of jail since for domestic violence, for evading parole, for, you know, a plethora of shit. I say all that to say, recently we had a conversation and Spirit told me to ask him, I forgot exactly what I asked him. I said, I think I asked him something like, what is, I don't know what the fuck I asked him. But it led to this conversation here, child. Oh, here it is. It says, no, I don't even know what I asked him. Whatever I asked him came before this. But I wanted to kind of know, like, just what he thought about, you know, our experience of each other, mostly his experience of me, you know, because he had went online when I broke up with him, told them people that I was a drug addict and all of this and all of that, etc. And over the years, he had expressed that he had a lot of regret over the narratives and the lies that he spewed about me. There's actually a live stream on my channel. I forgot what it's titled. I think it's titled CTV and his ex reconcile or something like that. But he was in prison at the time. At that time, he was in fucking prison. And he allowed me to record him apologizing to me and telling the truth that I had been nothing but good to him, that I don't do drugs. He's never seen me do no motherfucking drugs, and that he lied and why he lied and da-da-da-da. But even after all of that, he's continued to like suffer from, I guess, a guilt and a shame for how he behaved in our relationship and how far he went to get his own needs met, even if it meant trying to throw me under the bus, even if it meant directing his rage toward me, even if it meant, you know, selling me the fuck out. And so he's, over the past few years, I would get here at the tail end of the story, missing the juicy. Oh my God. Hey, Josh. I'm talking about my twin flame child, the one who came to the internet years and years and years ago and lied about me being a drug addict and all that shit and how we reconciled and da-da-da. But there's a live stream that you guys actually can type in on my channel and you can hear him apologizing and admitting that he lied and all of that. So I asked him a month or so ago, because we've always remained in contact. And he said this. He said, when I was in prison, my family basically disappeared. Whatever the excuse is, the expense and the effort of keeping up or keeping in touch with somebody in prison was too much for them. Shortly before I went to prison, I realized that I wasn't living my life the way I wanted to live it. You were a consistent friend during these dark times for me. I said, thanks. He says, I am sorry for leading you to think I felt differently. Because he had behaved so badly, he never felt that his behavior was a true reflection of his love for me, his appreciation for me, his whatever. He never felt like he really gave me the relationship that I deserve and the love that I deserve. And it seemingly bothers him that he has not been given an opportunity to show up differently. That's kind of the last impression, you know, of him in my life, contrary to how fluid I was in loving him and being a beacon of hope and a stability for him, and him being god awful to me. Then I asked him, why do you think you acted contrary to how you really felt? He said, you have always been a benefit for me, at times a resource to turn to. I'm sorry I feel as though I haven't been anything of the sort to you. I've never been able to give you anything, money nor contentment. If it's any consolation, you should know that I've paid dearly for using you, and I hope you can take something good from it. When he says that he has paid dearly for betraying me, for using me at times, for emotionally abusing me, for just being a piece of shit. He's talking about all of the karmic things that took place in his life following our initial breakup when he was released from prison. He ended up getting involved with a guy. That guy ended up stabbing him multiple times in his back. He almost lost his life. He was in the ICU. He had a lot of physical trauma around that experience. He had a lot of emotional and mental trauma around that experience. He seemingly has not been able to get on his feet and to ground himself since, and his life has just been a whirlwind and has been chaotic ever since he left the Garden of Eden. Right now, he currently is completely homeless, unfortunately, and he's on drugs, unfortunately. And I am concerned about him. But I wanted to talk about this in relationship to what I said. And it was also like the symbolism and kind of like the synchronicity of him being stabbed in the back by somebody that he was romantically with, symbolic to how he stabbed me in the back and betrayed me. And he was physically actually stabbed up in his back, like multiple knives sticking out of his back. I always tell people that I am a real life child of God, and that the worst thing you can do to somebody who knows God deeply, aka who knows love deeply, who knows how to love, and who loves from a pure place, the last thing you want to do is fuck over a love like that. You don't have to always remain in relationship to that type of love, but if you dare bring yourself to attempt to harm that type of love, whether it be your intention or not, you are going to curse your life. There are very few people that I personally know who love from a very deep, a sincere, and a complete way. But my God, I have seen the same pattern in their life when people thought that they were to be played with, and watch the craziest reverse unos take place as a result. Mind you, I love my twin flame so much that as hurt as I was over everything that he had done to me over the course of years of our relationship and all of the support that I provided for him, even sacrificing myself at times to take care of him, to be there for him. In none of that hurt, in none of that depression did I ever, though, wish harm come unto him. I always wish he would get it together. I always desired that he would come out of this self-sabotaging, destructive version of himself. But never did I ever have a day or a moment, despite all of the hurt, where I wanted harm to come unto him, because I really loved him. I don't have anything in me that could bring harm to him. But going back to what I was establishing earlier about how people treat you is not a reflection of you. There was a short period where, after we had broken up, that I was just like, could I have loved any better? I don't know what else I could have did. I didn't have any other hat. I supported you through 3 years of imprisonment. I took care of you. I took care of you before you got locked up. Even after we broke up, after you got out, I allowed you to have a second run a year and a half later. and he didn't have to do anything. He came into an already established reality. Didn't have to pay no bills, didn't have to work, because I was already established. I never needed a man for any of that. I only am going to be in a relationship for the emotional, spiritual, mental experience. I don't need a man to take care of me. So, those things weren't an issue for me. So he had it made, and he still succumbed to a desire to do drugs, etc. Led him back to them streets, and I had to let them streets take him on some Monica Street Symphony ass shit. So when I was reading this, I was like, thank God for his self-awareness and for his ability to take responsibility for his behavior, for his actions. I think a lot of people do a lot of foul shit to people who never bring themselves to be honest and to be introspective and to say to the person that they hurt and that they victimized and that they exploited that I was wrong. I was wrong. And you had no motherfucking fault in how wrong I was. I was wrong because I was motherfucking wrong. I don't know a lot of people who are capable of that level of onus. And I didn't even need this from him. But it was interesting to receive it from him. And once again, he's been pretty consistent over the years of kind of every now and again, he'll pull up on some, I'm really sorry. And I truly hope that you can forgive me. And I do. But I bring this up to say to those who have been through a lot and who have been betrayed, who have been hurt, I'm here to affirm to you and tell you that you have nothing to fucking do with the wrong of other people. And when you go into yourself to move on and to move forward with your life, that you have to let other people's tea be their motherfucking tea. You're not responsible for why somebody is putting their fucking hands on you. You're not responsible for why somebody is choosing to lie to you. You're not responsible for why somebody is choosing to use you, choosing to abuse you. You are responsible for allowing a person to continue to have access to you in a way that allows them to do those things. But you're not responsible for why and what they're doing. You can only be responsible for you. But too often do people, instead of knowing that, they allow the fact that somebody lied to them, somebody abused them, somebody hurt them, used them up to corrode their own perception of themselves. Because you told yourself all of these unnecessary stories about yourself based upon someone else's behavior. We've got to stop harming ourselves that way. You've got to be very clear about your role and their motherfucking role. And you can't carry or assign yourself someone else's sins. It's not loving. It's not affirmational. It is not self-care. And it is self-abuse. For you to assign someone else's sins unto yourself. That motherfucker beat on you because he is an abuser. That motherfucker lied to you because he is a motherfucking liar. That motherfucker manipulated you because he is a motherfucking manipulator. That motherfucker used you because he is a motherfucking user. That is of no reflection of you. And because somebody showed up in the worst parts of themselves in your life, has nothing to do with now your worth, has nothing to do with your value. All those things are still 100% across the board. We just live in a system in a world where sometimes bad things are going to happen to very good people. And you've got to be able to accept that about life. You've got to be able to accept that about reality so that you're not fucking walking around broken and wounded over other people's shit. Because how somebody treats you is their shit. It's not yours. It never was, it never is, and it never will be. But if you find value in making somebody else's abuse and mistreatment of you, there's nothing in this universe that's going to stop you from doing that. You are more than welcome to assign yourself all of the sick, dark, non-supportive things that you're going to tell yourself to make it make sense to you, to fill in the grid for yourself, whatever you're trying to achieve, and making it about you isn't. And I really need good people to get clear. I really do. I know it's in good people's nature to always look in themselves first. And a really, really loving person naturally is going to be more interested in assessing themselves first before they even assign fault. Like, no. Maybe it is me. It can be me. It's me. Bless your heart. So sweet. So full of love that you would almost prefer it to be you. That is the problem. Than for it to be the person that you love. That's an actual reflection of your own fucking goodness. But oftentimes, even if and when we're willing to first and foremost say, hold on, let me look at the man or woman in the mirror. Sometimes we stay in that mirror. And we stay in that mirror for too long about things that are not even true. And then we walk away from that mirror with the narrative that's not accurate, that's not right, and that's not rooted in the truth. Because on some level or another, maybe it's underlying trauma, maybe it's underlying self-esteem issues, we believe that how this person treated me has to be a reflection of the fact that I'm just not worthy. I'm not worthy. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't attractive enough. I didn't do enough. Whatever it is. It's not. And the wild part about all of this is that your abuser knows it. Your abuser knows it's not you. But if you're willing to assign yourself, the reason most abusers are going to take the opportunity to definitely deflect. And if you're willing to support their deflection by sitting there in agreement with the fact that you are the problem and you are unworthy and you are the reason why this happened, Most abusers are going to indulge that because they're too wounded and broken to not do so. Nobody likes sitting in a hot seat to begin with. But your abuser knows. The person that wasn't good to you, the person that hurt your heart, the person that damn near broke your faith and hope in all of humanity, the people who did that, people who acted in ways that made it hard to want to trust again, that made it hard to want to love again, that made it hard to like yourself again, they know just how wrong they are. Most of them just may not tell you. I am just the exception to the rule. My situation is just unique, but it's nonetheless the case across the board. Most people will never hear from their abuser again. Most people will not ever have any self-accountability come from their abuser. But I'm here to tell you that they know what they did to you. They know just how wonderful, they know how awesome, they know how good, they know how loving. And sometimes their horrid treatment of you was motivated actually by just how good your ass was to them, because your light and your love stimulated and aroused all the fucked up ass parts of themselves that they never healed. So in return, they had no choice but to nuck and buck against you in an attempt to prove themselves right about how unworthy they are not. And sometimes they will try to manipulate you into being the wrong one and to being the abusive one so that they can validate an internal narrative in their self about themselves, which is that, see, I'm unlovable and I knew you could not love me. I knew you would do this to me. Because if I wasn't good enough for my mom to love, how could you? If I wasn't good enough for my dad to love, how could you? So sometimes the harder you love somebody, the deeper you love somebody, unbeknownst to you and unbeknownst to them, the more that it's going to shine a light on those areas that broken people typically hide themselves from. And because that light is coming from you, that's illuminating all of their vulnerability and all of the brokenness, oftentimes their attack will be directed toward you. And even though it's not really meant for you, but because you are the source that that light is emanating from, baby, you're just in the line of fire, and you're just going to be a casualty of war when you fuck around and truly love people who are not ready to be loved, even though they pray to be loved. People who are not ready to be loved, even though they ask to be loved. People who are not ready to be loved, even though they seek to be loved. But when it's lights, camera, and action, never give themselves permission to actually receive that love. And the more warm and gentle and accepting and compassionate and patient that love is to a broken person, they'll have a honeymoon experience with that love at first. It'll be everything that they need and could ever want. But then that honeymoon phase passes and that pain body, that trauma body shows up. And all of their intrusive thoughts begin to consume them. And they begin to question, is this real? Is this person being for real? Because there's no way I fucked around and looked up like this. And then they start doing bullshit. The demons start waking up. They start testing their relationship for no motherfucking reason. They start cheating because in their minds, this is an attempt to self-preserve, because they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. So they're already carving out another safe space because they're expecting this home here to become undone. Start doing all type of crazy shit. Half the times they don't even know why they're doing what the fuck they're doing, and don't even know why they're acting all fucked up the way they're acting, but it just becomes their behavior. And because we're talking about states of consciousness, people don't always have to understand themselves in order to be themselves, because the impulses are going to create the actions. And so people be walking around behaving in all sorts of ways that they don't even have any self-awareness about. They don't even have any personal context for. They just know that this is what they're doing. But I'm here to tell you that it's not your fault, and you didn't do anything to deserve what the fuck someone else did to you. And I want you to give yourself permission to forgive yourself for believing anything less. I want you to give yourself permission to forgive yourself for believing the lie of the enemy. I want you to cast rebuke upon any other messenger coming to give you any other doctrine aside from the one that affirms the truth of your heart. Because you know damn well that you was good to that motherfucker. You know damn well all you wanted was the best for y'all and the best for them. You know damn well how many nights you had to slave over yourself to continue to forgive and to forget, to continue to open your heart despite this person's patterns, all the times you resisted giving them a taste of their own motherfucking medicine. You know how hard you worked to be the best version of yourself, even when you was being given the worst version of them. Yeah, time to let that narrative go. And for you to step on and step in what the fuck you know to be true. And for you to let another person's sin be theirs and not yours, because you're only responsible for you. You are not responsible for other people's actions and other people's behavior. I'm happy that my ex personally, has been introspective enough to verbally affirm the truth and has continued to, be honest and transparent, even though I don't need it. But obviously he is dealing with shame in himself. There's nothing I can do about his shame. There's nothing I can do about his guilt. That's his shadow work to work through. The only thing I do is tell him the truth, which is that you are forgiven, because he is. I don't have any issue. I took that experience and made myself better. I learned a lot about what it can look like when you find yourself loving someone who is not ready to be loved, or loving someone who is broken. I learned a lot about how to do that and to what degree to do that. It was an experience that definitely taught me a lot. It was a teacher in my life. I thought I was there to love when really I was there to learn. And I want y'all to know that every experience in your life is that first and foremost. Even if you happen to be loving, even if you happen to like and lust and whatever the other variables are, but that every experience and manifestation in your life, first and foremost, before any other thing, is a teacher. And when you keep that in mind, when you keep that awareness, even if what you feel is in love or whatever it is, a new friendship that's unfolding, a new romance, or whatever, know first and foremost that every experience is first a message in a motherfucking bottle. So leave room for yourself to observe and to adjust and to learn. Because every manifestation is a teacher first. Some messages come to us in the form of being in love, comes in the form of having children, comes in the form of a new career, new location, new clothes, new aesthetic, new whatever, new social group. But no matter what the manifestation is, it is what, class? First and foremost, before it's anything else, it is always, in principle, universally, across the board, first and foremost. Not that it can't be other things, but it first and foremost is a teacher. So that's why there's no need to ever have any regrets. Because if you leave space for you to be a student, you're always going to get something powerful out of any type of experience, even pain. Pain is one of the most profound of teachers and educators that we have. And to Kimmy's point, you know, the reality is that we all are going to be students for the rest of our lives. We're all working this thing out every day, every moment, situation to situation. There is no end as an end. The evolution is eternal. And we will transition these bodies and go have other experiences in spirit and or in body and flesh, where we will continue to collect data, because all of reality, including us, are eternal by nature. So there's a never-ending unfolding. And that's okay. We're all students. The soul is a student of life, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, some lessons are harder to swallow and to adapt to and to accept than others, but all truth can be digested. And when digested and digested properly with a proper working digestive system, because some people digest somewhat, so then it makes their progress somewhat. Some people digest only a quarter. They gon', take whatever meat they can, spit out the bones. But when you, so the quality of what you learn and what you evolve into is largely determined by how much of the truth can you so handle. How much of it can you handle? How wide and great of a capacity do you have to receive what is messaging out to you? The greater that capacity, the greater you become. Me and my homeboy were just talking the other day about how spirituality and spiritual growth is, on one hand, one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your life, because you commit to confrontations with everything that's difficult. Your fear, your unresolved, your tensions. But man, the reward is so incredible that You can't go back. Once you start, you can't go back. Because you go so far. And it gets so green that you can't go back to who you was. You can only continue to go forward because it truly is a rewarding path. So I wanted to talk about that in order to just inspire other people to hold on to your truth and don't let the enemy distort your mind about yourself, and don't let the enemy distort the truth. Bear witness to it and be a witness unto it. Now, last but not least, well, we got two more things I think I want to talk about. Beefing. I am not. I'm just. If I'm just gonna be motherfucking honest and motherfucking real. Hold on. If I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I don't respect a bitch enough on these social media streets to really beef. I just don't. When I find myself occasionally roasting and gagging a bitch because who head top they think they gonna play on can't be played with, I'm usually roasting for practice, not because there's any substance there. The way that I was doing vigilante work on this platform, how I'm talking about how radically different that's going to look going forward, I really can't see myself beefing anymore either. At least not in the way that I have. If there are things that I want to respond to, I will. Hardly there ever is anything going on that warrants a response. At this point, I take more pleasure in sitting on my porch and just knowing that my very existence causes bitches to be dizzied and dazzled. I more so just enjoy how much I naturally get under the skin of thin-skinned weirdos and freaks. For me to beef with people speaks volumes about them, because it means that I see them as a valuable thing enough for it to warrant a real reaction from me. The last bitch I roasted, which was the Cockeyed show, I remember after I was done saying what I needed to say, I was like, wow, that was fun. But that was all. Like, that was all. I didn't feel per se better than I did before I roasted his ugly ass down to the ground. I didn't per se feel more fulfilled. It was fun at the very most. But it didn't accomplish anything outside of it just being a extracurricular activity that I gave myself permission to participate in because I fucking could. You know? So I'm very happy to be at that place as well, where I don't have anybody I'm beefing with. Now, there may be people who are beefing with me in their own delusional, unmedicated psychiatrically damaged brains, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay, that's a one-sided beef. I don't have no beef. I don't have any. I don't have any harm to do to anybody, and there's not nothing going on that would put me in a beef with anybody. I don't even see anybody, to be honest. Like, everybody else is just silly putty in my game. And this is why y'all see me move on so fast and so fluidly and so easily to the next chapter. It be, girl, we wash and rinse a bitch, we rub a stain out, and we keep it motherfucking moving. We on to fresh linen. We back to regular smegular programming. There don't be no posts and deletes. It's not all this back and forward, and I need to create a whole fucking sector, and it's just, baby, ain't none of that, baby. I'm too old, and a bitch is getting too good at this thing called life. It can never be that. So beefing will be for fun, and it'll probably be a one and done situation when it does happen. I just couldn't even imagine making a bitch feel that significant, that we're really going to be in some type of an energetic, sustainable entanglement. It's just not going to happen. Last but not least, relationships and friendships. I'm in a very interesting place socially right now. I don't socialize really. I'm really focused on my shit and really focused on this next phase of my life. And I'm really focused just on really continuing to get used to enjoying myself because I've spent my whole life as a fucking caretaker. I've spent my whole life as a best friend. I've spent my whole life as lovers. This is like the first time in my life where I am solely focused on myself, and I'm having the time of my fucking life. It really feels very unique because I'm a very naturally communal person. But so to be in this place where I'm kind of really super curious and kind of obsessed with me. And I'm obsessed with this idea of being able to shape and mold my life according to what the fuck I want it to be in some sense. And what I mean by that is really, I'm just getting it in sync with my life purpose. I'm not really creating something that's outside of my life purpose. But within that purpose is a very competent, super independent me. And not having any external distractions has allowed me to get to know myself and to get to know the capacity of peace and joy that is really afforded to me. And now that I have something to compare my old way of doing things to, I like it better over here. If it takes me having less personal relationships in order to be happier as a person, then that's the path that I'm willing to pursue. That's the path that I'm willing to choose and to indulge in. If it takes having less of a social life in order to have a more joyous life. That's the space that I'm in right now. I do have some situations right now on the social side where because I know this person is listening. I got an issue with you on principle. And you have hit me up, which can lead to an opportunity to put everything on the table. But right now, I'm not interested in sitting at a table. So, but I've gotten your bird call. I've gotten your message. I'm not responding because I'm not going to at all. I'm just following my natural desire right now. And right now I don't have a desire to respond yet. I don't have a desire to have a talk. I don't have a desire to really hear what happened, why it happened. I'd rather be at peace. And if I meet you halfway, it'll happen organically. But right now, I don't feel it be necessary that we be at the table. And I don't know if there'll come a time where I'm ready to say, hey, back. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not trying to not respond. I'm not also trying to make myself respond. I'm just following what feels natural. And I assume that when and if there's going to be a time that comes, that it will come. And I will naturally speak back. I'm just in a place where I'm enjoying being still. I'm getting my life being still. I'm getting my life living the same day, the same way every day. That consistency is giving me my life. And I don't want weird shit in my midst. I don't want incongruent energy in my midst. I don't want whatever. Like everything in my life got to be consistent because I'm manifesting my motherfucking ass off right now. The more peaceful I become, the greater my ability to co-create and manifest is becoming. And I'm obsessed with manifesting right now and being in my spiritual power right now. And what don't make sense, I got peace about. And if there comes a time where the energy needs to look different and where my life calls for a different formula, I'll honor that. And if that brings other components and other people into play, that's cool. But, you know, I've heard it said that the last thing you want to do, bitch, is give a Scorpio space. Because, baby, we really figured that shit out. And the more time you give us to to learn ourselves and to communicate with ourselves, that probably isn't going to work out too well for the one giving us the space. Because by the time you show back up, baby, there won't be no need for you in that space. So I don't have no issue, but there is an issue. But not prioritizing that issue right now. The only thing that's my priority right now is my peace of mind and my mental health and my inner stability. And if I'm the only person that can give that to myself, then that's exactly who the fuck I'm prepared to be with until life says otherwise, because life really isn't this complicated. And when you stop dealing with complicated people, and when you stop dealing with messy ass people, and when you stop dealing with fake ass, two-faced ass people, when you stop dealing with emotionally unavailable people, when you just remove problematic people out of your lane, you really get to see how easy and simple of a person you actually are. And then that makes you beg the question of, well, damn, bitch. It's not that life is actually this complicated. It's just that other people are really fucking raggedy. And that turns into a very raggedy ass experience of life. And then when you move all of them out the way and you see all your issues clear up, all your problems clear up, because it's been that easy all along, it's like, oh, okay. This wasn't an issue of life being complicated. This was an issue of trying to make complicated people work. Trying to make complicated ass people work for the life that you're wanting to live. Gotta stop trying to fit a circle into a square peg hole, because you're going to get complicated results as a result. Last but not least, hey, a conversation. Hey, boo. Last but not least, I made a post the other day on my community wall, and this is just a 1-2 to the 1-2 for content creators. And let me see here. Can I find it? Can I find it? It says, this was 23 hours ago. I wrote, if you're a content creator and you're on the phone with people from the internet, you better know them hoes are recording you. I don't care how much someone claims to love you, support you, nor how long they've been around, they are recording you, because it's too much of an opportunity to not do so. What you do, hold on. Oh, what you better be doing is recording every engagement so nobody can manipulate no BS if it ever comes out. And always make sure, if you're talking about someone, that you have said them very same things behind their back to their face, because it's not being two-faced when that's the case. It's just being honest and transparent. I've been a content creator long enough to put nothing past nobody and to stay ready, so I don't got to get ready. Expect the worst from everyone. With that being said, I say that because at this point, I have heard recordings with every content creator's voice on it. And those content creators have no idea that their voices have been documented and recorded. There's no issue with communicating with people and building relationships to people on the internet. That's why in what I said, I didn't say don't go forth and build relationships. You can do so, but you better know what the fuck you're doing and who you're doing, because they're certainly doing you. As a result of hearing a recording of each content creator at this point, I know that nobody on this bitch can be trusted. So please proceed with caution. If you are a content creator who wants to get into a relationship with your subscribers, with even your moderators, you connect with people via DM, email, whatever the fuck the case is, honey. And stay ready, because yeah, that's a whole thing. Yes, no one is safe. And these motherfuckers play so many goddamn Harani whole games and are triangulating so motherfucking bad, and people are so desperate to need an exclusive and to want a storyline and to feel significant. It's so many things that are motivating people to be super inappropriate in relationships that are being presented as safe and sound. So all I can tell people to do is be integral, be fluid. Don't find yourself saying one thing here and then another thing there. And yes, make sure that you yourself are always documenting accordingly in case a bitch want to play on your motherfucking head top and want to put out some sliced up, super edited, or hell, some all out AI ass shit. Who fucking knows? You know, the more that technology is evolving, motherfuckers can all out fake motherfucking receipts at this point in time. So, you know, the plot thickens, baby. Okay? And if y'all thought that these social media streets, girl, were a sundown town, as technology evolves, baby, we're going to see darker days in social media. The way that I am personally navigating that is I am very clear about my boundaries. I do not talk to anybody off the internet. Anything that you have to say to me, you can click the link and say. You can put it in an email if need be. You can put it in a comment section. You can put it in a DM. But I'm not on social media trying to find a family or a friend. I am here to dance for y'all. I'm here to be your private dancer. That's it. That's all. I'm like a stripper, baby. I come and shake this ass and entertain and do what it is I do, and then I go home, honey. And there is separation between church and motherfucking state, okay? But I know that a lot of other, content creators are in the business of constantly making themselves available for exchange and engagement, and all I can tell y'all, baby, is be on your P's and be on your motherfucking Q's and expect the motherfucking worst. Okay? Just expect the motherfucking worst, so that once again, you ain't got to get ready, because you have stayed motherfucking on ready, honey. Trust nobody. All right? Trust you. All right? I'm out of here. If you guys enjoyed yourself, please give me a thumbs up, share all of that. I hope you guys took something from the stream. We do have to come back later and get messy. It's a lot of stuff going on in pop culture, going on in the political landscape. So we're going to be getting into some shit. But Spirit told me to drop this off. So I am just being a humbled messenger of the Lord. I love you all down to the ground. Hope you guys have a wonderful work week. If you want to bless the king, you are more than welcome to on Cash App. $Consciouztv and or paypal.me/Consciouztv. Of course, it's conscious spelled with the Z on the end, just like it is here on the channel. You can follow me on all other social media platforms, which are listed in the description box below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you guys later.